Christopher made $52,000 a year fixing diesel engines in Columbus, Ohio. Solid job, decent money. But on January 15th at 2:47 a.m., he sat in his truck outside a payday loan store, seriously considering a decision that would have destroyed his life. His checking account showed 3.47, credit cards maxed at $18,000, medical bills in collections. That same night, 3 miles away, Earl, a 58-year-old maintenance supervisor who packed the same bologna sandwich for lunch every single day, was sleeping soundly with $380,000 in his accounts. Not inherited, not from some lucky investment, built dollar by dollar while never making more than $55,000 a year. The difference between these two men: 6 specific mistakes, 6 deadly financial habits that trap 78% of Americans in debt forever. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're probably making at least 4 of them right now. This is what actually happened. Christopher met Earl during a brutal overtime shift. Power went out in the shop. Earl came to fix it. Christopher noticed something odd. Earl was reading investment statements by flashlight while waiting for parts. Not the Wall Street Journal. Actual brokerage statements. His own. "You invest?" Christopher asked, trying not to sound shocked that a maintenance guy had a portfolio. Earl looked up. "Son, I've been broke enough times to know what actually works. You want to hear it, or you want to keep doing what you're doing?" That stung, but Christopher was desperate enough to listen. Mistake 1. Fighting with no defense. "What's your emergency fund?" Earl asked during their first real conversation. "I'm focusing on paying off debt first," Christopher said. Made logical sense. "Wrong battlefield," Earl said. He pulled out a worn notebook, pages yellowed with age. "Look at this, 20 years of tracking. You know what happens every 4 months like clockwork? A $600 to $800 emergency. Every single time." Christopher did the math in his head. In the last year alone, transmission leak 650, infected wisdom tooth 425, work boots that literally fell apart mid-shift 180. Each time, straight back to the credit card. "You're bailing water from a boat while ignoring the hole in the bottom. Save $1,000 first. I don't care if your credit card charges 25% interest. Without that cushion, you'll be in debt forever." It felt wrong, mathematically backward, but Christopher couldn't argue with his own history. Mistake 2. Spreading your fire on empty targets. 2 weeks later, Earl asked Christopher to list his debts. All of them. Rates, balances, minimums. Christopher pulled up his phone, started scrolling. Visa, $4,200 at 24.99%. Medical, $3,800 at 0%, payment plan. Personal loan, $5,500 at 12%. Store card, $900 at 28.99%. Truck, $3,600 at 7%. "You're dividing your payments equally?" Earl guessed. Christopher nodded. Fair seemed smart. "You're literally paying 0% debt while that store card is eating you alive at 29%. That's like treating a paper cut while you're bleeding out from your neck." Earl grabbed a napkin, did the math. By attacking that store card first, then the Visa, Christopher would save $3,400 and be debt-free 11 months faster. Same money, completely different strategy. But the third mistake was the one destroying Christopher daily. Mistake 3. The invisible bleeds. "Track every dollar for 1 week," Earl challenged. "Not a month, not forever. 7 days. I bet you can't even guess where your money actually goes." Christopher wrote his guess on a napkin, sealed it. Food for the week, $75. 7 days later, the real damage. Gas station coffee, $31.50. Energy drinks, $42. Drive-through lunch, $67. Random vending machine, $18. Grocery store, $54 total, $212.50. Almost triple his guess. And that was him being careful because he was tracking. "It's not the big purchases that kill you," Earl said. "It's the small bleeds, death by 1,000 cuts. Each one too small to notice. Together, they're murdering your future." Earl showed his own notebook. Every expense for 2 decades. Coffee, gas, everything. Millionaires track their money. Broke people wonder where it went. The fourth mistake hit even closer to home. Mistake 4. The expensive costume party. Christopher had just bought new Carhartt pants. 3 pairs at $89 each. Earl noticed immediately. "Those make you a better mechanic. They last longer than cheap ones," Christopher said defensively. Earl lifted his own pant leg. Walmart brand. $18. 4 years old, still solid. "Let me tell you something," Earl said, his voice different now. "Serious. I used to own a house worth $400,000, drove a King Ranch F-250, country club membership. You know where all that is now? Gone. Lost it all in 2008 trying to look successful instead of becoming successful. He paused, let that sink in. The people you're trying to impress, they're too broke trying to impress you to even notice. It's a circle of broke people performing for other broke people. Meanwhile, the actually wealthy guy drives a 10-year-old Honda and couldn't care less what anyone thinks. Studies indicate the average American spends $1,197 annually just on status signaling, clothes, cars, gadgets, purely for appearance. Money literally burned for applause from an audience that doesn't exist. Mistake 5. The raise that disappears. 6 months in, Christopher got promoted. Extra $4,500 a year. Finally, breathing room. What happened to your last raise? Earl asked. Silence. Christopher couldn't remember. It had just vanished into the monthly chaos. Here's what nobody tells you, Earl said. Every time you make more, you spend more. Usually 110% of the raise. It's like lifestyle inflation is hunting your paycheck, waiting to devour it. Earl's strategy seemed extreme. Pretend the raise doesn't exist. Old salary goes to checking. Raise goes to a completely separate account. Live like nothing changed. That's impossible, Christopher protested. You were living on the old salary yesterday. What changed today? 9 months later, Christopher had $375 saved from money he never saw. It was like finding cash in a jacket pocket, except it was his future. Mistake 6. The sprint that becomes a crawl. After 10 months of aggressive payoff, Christopher was cracking. No entertainment, no life, just work, pay bills, sleep, repeat. He stood at a Best Buy, staring at a 65-inch TV, credit card in hand, ready to blow everything. That's when Earl texted him, almost like he knew. Meet me at Tony's Diner, my treat. Over coffee, Earl said something Christopher never forgot. You know what actually kills people getting out of debt? It's not the math. It's not the interest. It's the burnout. They go so hard they snap, then end up worse than when they started. I've seen it 100 times. Earl's rule: every $2,000 killed, celebrate. Small, controlled. A good meal, not a vacation. A movie, not a shopping spree. Discipline without pressure release isn't discipline. It's self-torture. And humans don't stay in torture. They escape, usually in the worst way possible. 5 years later, Christopher owns 3 repair bays and employs 4 mechanics. He's got $47,000 saved. Real money, not retirement funds he can't touch. Cash. Available. His. He still drives a 2014 Silverado, still wears Walmart jeans, but he sleeps through the night now. No more 2 a.m. panic-checking bank apps. No more payday loan temptations. Last Thursday, his youngest mechanic, Marcus, confessed he was drowning in debt. Christopher grabbed a napkin, wrote down 6 numbers. Let me tell you about this maintenance guy named Earl. The cycle continues. Because real wealth isn't inherited. It's taught. 1 conversation, 1 napkin, 1 life at a time. Look, I need you to be honest for 10 seconds. Which one of these 6 mistakes is actively destroying your finances right now? Don't type an explanation or excuse, just the number. That uncomfortable twist in your stomach, that's not shame, that's recognition. And recognition is where every single financial transformation begins. Type it below.